Hey, creatives, welcome to Girl Gang Craft, the podcast. So I'm excited because today we have a couple firsts. So this is our first podcast with two guests. We have a really cool duo, and they make up Pandr designs. We have Roxy Prima, and we have another Phoebe on the podcast today. So this is Phoebe Cornog. And just our name's pretty rare. So it's really exciting when we meet another one of us. So,
Yeah.
but welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So tell our community what it is that you two do.
Yeah, so I'm Roxy.
And I'm Phoebe.
And together we run Pandr Design Co., which is a business based out of San Diego, California that specializes in painting murals and creating social media destination moments.
And what is the social media destination moment?
I know. So basically like your Instagram backdrop, we'll work closely with businesses to create something custom for them. But also it's going to draw people into their business to take photos and then hopefully spend money. Or if it's an internal operation, so like we'll do office murals just to make the employees happy. If you're going to be in the office, you want some interesting artwork. So yeah, we have a background in graphic design, so we come at it a little differently than other muralists.
And so are you only painting murals in San Diego or other places?
Nope, all over.
Yeah, all over. We have a goal of painting a mural in all 50 states, and we are currently at 24, soon to be at 27.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So you've got half of America right there.
Yeah.
And any international murals yet?
Yes. So we did, not in a while. I mean, I guess COVID. Too also threw a wrench in that. But we have 2 murals in Australia. And yeah, weirdly, we haven't done Canada yet, which is, hey, Canada,
Closer.
if you're listening.
Yeah. Let's get them up in some Canadian businesses. We love that. So, okay. First of all, so are you mostly working for like retailers? You mentioned offices. Are these are they public buildings? Tell us a little bit about like who you're painting murals for.
Yeah, so it's fun for us because we get to work in a really wide variety of different industries. We work internal, external, public facing, private, all kinds of stuff. Our clients range from commercial real estate to professional sports teams to restaurants, hotels, Airbnbs. We've done some at schools. We've done quite a variety of work, and then done places like Target, Lululemon, Visa. It really ranges, which is really fun for us because it's never the same kind of project.
And what kind of murals are you painting?
Yeah, our background is, as I said, in graphic design. So they're pretty graphic in style. A lot of them include lettering, which we're trying to get away from now just because we want to challenge ourselves to do more and more different stuff. So like, a lot of lettering. We will do traditional sign painting. So if someone has, their logo that they just need gigantic on the side of their building, we'll do that as well. So wide range.
And do you have a favorite like type of mural that you work with or a favorite type of clientele?
Well, I would say the perfect job would include the smoothest wall possible. Texture does throw a wrench in like how fast or slow we'll do things. So we love a nice drywall. And I mean, we don't really care about who the industry is or the client. It's more about like how they treat us. We love a client that treats you with respect.
Yeah.
And it's more exciting when it's an exterior mural because people are seeing it more often and it's getting photographed for social. But I mean, inside ones are fun too because the employees get to see it and you see how like it directly impacts their day at the office. So
yeah.
And how do you get inspired to figure out what to paint for a client?
Yeah, so since we come at it from a graphic design standpoint, we're not painting what Phoebe and Roxy want to paint. We're painting what makes sense for the brand, that coincides with the brand's personality, and something that's going to attract their target demographic. So there's a lot of research that goes into it. There's a lot of problem solving. There's a lot of, connecting dots. And so that's a fun challenge for us. It's almost harder when the client says you can do whatever you want. Like, it's nice to have some sort of boundaries and like,
no, boss us around, please.
Yeah.
We love an assignment.
Yeah. So inspiration, I guess every project has a different problem that we're solving. So that's where we can get inspired by different things for each project.
Okay, that's so interesting. And also you guys are very good at like going back and forth and sharing questions. So that's
we do
great.
this a lot.
Good teamwork.
Speaking, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. How did you two meet?
We met through Instagram. So basically our whole lives are centered around social media. But so I found Roxy on Instagram back in 2015. And at that point, she had about like 15,000 followers. And I was just completely obsessed with her work that she was doing at the time, which this was pre-iPad. So it was a lot of pencil drawings and lettering. So I was obsessed with her lettering. And I saw that she was based in San Diego. So I was like, oh, I'm going to reach out to her. So I sent her an email, very professional email, and asked her if she would get wine and cheese and talk about lettering with me, which is so nerdy. But she said yes, to my surprise. And then from there, we just really hit it off and had a lot in common. And so we started a meetup group. And that was for other like-minded creatives in San Diego who were interested in graphic design and lettering and just like meeting up and doing creative things together. So we were hosting all those events. And from there is where, we fell into running a business together.
I love that. We love an Instagram romance story.
Yes.
So, okay, is it just you two right now, or do you have a bigger team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we used to have a few employees. And then when COVID hit, we totally expected our business to just not have any work, because who needs a mural during a global pandemic? But apparently a lot of people do. So we really, those first few weeks of COVID, just dove into our business and really figured out how to get lean and mean and where we could get clients, and ended up having our best year ever, which is now being topped by this year. But so we've really figured out how to, keep our business growing with just the two of us, because we learned that, we don't really like managing people, and there's a lot of extra stuff you have to do when you have employees that takes you away from the day-to-day business stuff. So we really enjoy having a small team, and it's nice to enjoy the profits that we make.
We outsource a ton of stuff though. So it's just the two of us full-time under Pandr, but so technically, we're an S Corp, so we're employees of ourselves, which is funny. But we outsource a bunch of work. So our SEO, any legal stuff, we have an attorney, we have a bookkeeper, accountant, all that fun stuff. And what else do we outsource? Oh, like anytime copywriting. Yeah. Anytime we need anything like vectorized, we've realized, why are we doing this? So there's still like some design work too. Or if it's a bigger project, we'll bring on sign painters to help us paint. So there's ways
so you
to
sometimes do have help for murals.
Right.
If it's a huge project. Okay. Cool. Okay. I love the idea of keeping it small and using contractors. I think that's really smart, and paying other people to do things like taxes and bookkeeping, and it's always a stress off our artist community back. Okay, so what was I gonna say? Okay, so how do you divide your work? Do you sort of stick to specific roles, you two, or how does that work?
So the interesting thing about our dynamic is that we both do everything. Whereas a lot of partnerships work well together because they have different skill sets. So like one might be the creative and one might be the business person. We are both everything. And because when we came together, neither of us knew anything about how to run a business. We learned everything together. So we know how to do everything, and we are very like-minded in the way that we think and our goals. So it's nice to be able to say, you know, I'll do the contracts this week, and, you know, you start designing that project or whatever, and we can just pass off things. Like if I'm not feeling very creative today, you know, Phoebe can take over that part. Or if she just doesn't feel like pitching on the phone one day, then I can take the phone call. So it's great for, you know, when one of us is on vacation, we can just, everything's in good hands with each other.
So do you guys like check in at the beginning of every day or how does that work?
We come into the office. Yeah.
We come into our office at around 10 a.m. our time. And we'll normally, I mean, we all have been on our phones. So it's like, we're not completely unplugged, but we'll say, oh, did you see that email? Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Okay, we'll respond to that. We're usually on the same page anyways. There's nothing like many two surprises, and then we just kind of get right into it. We're so used to it and in sync, which makes us sound like freaky robots, but and that's what comes with the territory of, I mean, we've worked together for 5 years at this point, so.
Okay, so you have a physical office. Tell us about that. And when did that come into the picture?
Yeah, so I think 2018, we rented an office within a co-working space because it just, you know, we couldn't work at coffee shops anymore. We had too many phone calls going on and wanted a little bit more structure. So we worked out of a co-working space for about 6 months, I would say.
I think we were there almost a year, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Almost a year, let's say. And then at that time we had a couple employees, so we were looking for an office space, and we found our space that we've been in for 3 years now. And it's great. We put in a gym during COVID. We can teach workshops here. We have a big shed for all our paint supplies. So it's been really nice to have a space because, I mean, it's not the easiest thing for either of us to work out of our homes, and it's nice to have that separation.
Especially for storage of our supplies. That's the major thing.
Yeah, and just during COVID, it was really great to have another place to be able to go to when everything was on lockdown.
Yeah, that makes sense. The separation of and work and home. And when you're an artist, having so many supplies, and when you're working on walls, specifically having so many supplies, I imagine. So, okay, you said that you would teach workshops as well. Can you talk a little bit about that and sort of your everything's public facing for you, but maybe to other artists part of the business?
Yeah, we started a while ago, I think I'm so bad at years, but like I want to say 2017, because I know we did.
It was very early.
I know we did them in Australia when we were there, and that's when we also painted the murals. But yeah, we did. Initially, we were just doing hand lettering workshops in person with people, and at first, like everyone, you know, you have imposter syndrome. You're like, how am I? Like, why do I have authority to teach anyone about this? But we've been asked so many times by people, how do you do this or that? So we're like, okay, we might as well be teaching this. And it was really fun. And actually we took us all around the United States too. That's really helped us with our goal of paint. Whenever we want to paint in a state, we do a mural and then also teach a workshop. So it's been really great to connect with creatives and meet people in person that you're always talking to in your DMs on Instagram and whatnot. And then from there we realized, okay, we're actually really good at the business stuff. So now we need to start teaching everyone the business side of things, because that's something that's lacking in the creative realm. So we teach all different kinds of webinars. So most of those are virtual, and that was really helpful as well during COVID when everyone's, you know, stuck at home, just teaching about outreach, which is something that's really crucial to our business. So how to get clients. We have a client communication webinar coming out. So you name it, we've probably done a webinar on it.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's so important. Obviously, I also care about educating the creative community. And I just think a lot of creatives, when they're first starting out, myself included, you're just sort of like putting together the pieces as you grow your business, and you have no idea who to listen to or where to find info, or just winging it. So it's so important for there to be places to go to learn these things. And, you know, we don't learn it in art school.
Nope.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's another subject.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about outreach because, like you said, that's such an integral part of your business. And a lot of a lot of our community's businesses. Our community has a lot of artists who are trying to not only, maybe do craft fairs, but do gallery works, and then do commissions, and then also sort of work with, I like to say, like, work with the people who actually have money. And then sometimes we think of that as like, maybe the rich art collector in New York, but those people are a little bit harder to find. And maybe it's actually just, the headquarters of Spotify down the street or whatever. So I would love to hear a little bit more about your outreach process and how you find clients.
Yeah. So in the beginning of our business, we didn't have any clients. Basically, we'd have them coming in here and there. Now we've painted about 250 murals all over the US and have a big social media following. So a lot of work comes to us now, but in the beginning, we didn't have clients. We didn't have consistent clients. And so we realized that we needed to be doing email outreach with a presentation explaining, why a company should hire us, and not just like a passive email of like, well, let me know if you ever need a mural. Like, no, like, let's get to the point. Let's get on a call. And we were just introducing ourselves to companies. And in the beginning, that's how we got 90% of our work. We've made hundreds of thousands of dollars through clients that we've gotten through outreach over the years. So now we don't have to do outreach as much, but it is critical in the beginning. And currently we're doing outreach because we're trying to get murals in the southeast of the US for a project. So we still do outreach. We've done outreach for everything. When we had our podcast, we did it to get sponsors. We've done it to get, what else did we do outreach for? I mean, we do it for everything. Our
live and breathe it.
Yeah, everything. Outreach helps with everything. So we do sell outreach contract or outreach guides on our website, just explaining the whole process, because it's not that complicated. It's super easy, and it should just be a habit for creatives and small business owners, because it will get you more work, like guaranteed. If you do it, if you really commit to doing it, you will get more work.
And I'd say, like, don't make any assumptions of what company can afford your services, because we talked about this on Instagram the other day. Like, we were just told by a multi-billion-dollar company this week that we were too expensive.
And then we've had companies that we were like, they probably can't afford us. Maybe they're having a hard time in COVID. And then we're like, whatever, we'll send it. And then, we've been hired for 5-6 figure jobs from industries that we thought probably didn't have money. So you really never know.
That's great advice. Can we talk a little bit more about your outreach system?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like how you stay organized,
right,
and who you decide to reach out to?
We use Hubspot as the platform that we use, but there's plenty of different ones. And we just use the free version, so nothing fancy. And that just makes it nice because Roxy and I are both working through the system, so we'll know who we've already emailed and we won't double email someone. But it's really all different sorts of industries. And Roxy had mentioned commercial real estate being the major one, hotels, restaurant groups, etc. Anyone who would see the value in having a colorful wall. And I will say that it's just very interesting. Each time is different who ends up hiring us personally. So it's never always like the marketing manager. It's been all different people, the owner, the marketing manager, the creative director. So unfortunately, it makes the process a little bit more complicated. You can't just like target the same person every time, but I guess keeps it interesting. Yeah, and it is a repetitive process. You can't just do one and done email. You really do need to follow up. So we're really good with following up with people. And
like right now we're targeting, as I said, the Southeast. So this week I've been specifically focused on Asheville, North Carolina. And on Instagram, I'll start with Instagram and I'll just type in Asheville, North Carolina. And then there's plenty of accounts that just make it so easy for you, like visit Asheville or like food bloggers of Asheville or whatever. And they literally are tagging businesses, and like I can see immediately if it seems like a good business that would fit our vibe or not. And then I'll just send them a DM like, hey, I'm a muralist. I'm coming to Asheville. I'd love to speak with you about potentially hiring me for a mural project. Do you have an email I could send more information? And right there, they can look at my Instagram and see my portfolio basically. And if they give me their email address, that's like, okay, they're potentially interested. And I make sure to make it clear, like, I'm not coming to do a free mural. Like, I would like to discuss pricing. And it works. It really works. So I typically focus on one city at a time and then go by industry so I can just copy and paste. Because there's been times where, I'll email brewery and say, your hotel looks awesome, so it's nice to stick to one industry at a time. So I'll do every single hotel I can find in Nashville. And then I'll go to breweries or restaurant groups or commercial real estate, shopping malls, and just like message and email all of them.
Just backtracking a second. HubSpot, what is HubSpot?
It's I always forget what
CRM. Okay.
CRM platform. Yeah.
But it's not required. It keeps organization for us, but
you can be as OCD as you want with it.
Totally.
Yeah.
We do a lot of Asana and Airtable. So, okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of the DM too. I think a lot of us think that work just comes to us like once we build our Instagram or sort of famous enough, and like it doesn't work like that. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that people start to come to you once you've developed yourself. But I think the outreach practice is always a great practice because you can ask for what you want, which is cool, right? You're targeting the Southwest. Right. And I mean, like there's sort of magic in that too. It's kind of like manifestation. Like you're actually going after the exact thing you want instead of just sitting and waiting for it to come to you, which I think is really important. I think a lot of creatives forget about that. I think we get so sucked into social media and like presenting our business and hoping people come to us that we forget about outreach. And in GGC, that's a huge part of our practice for both people like partnerships and even community things. Like at the day of this recording, our holiday directory is closing. And, we send out DMs to all of our people that we've interacted with before just to remind them. And that converts so much more than, people aren't seeing our social media posts all the time.
Right.
So I think going after it is such good advice.
We always say like if Coca-Cola has to advertise, and they advertise a lot and everyone knows who Coca-Cola is, if Coca-Cola needs to advertise, you need to be putting yourself out there. Like, I'm sorry, even if you have 1 million followers on Instagram, that's not that many people in the grand scheme of things, and you're missing out on so much work.
Yes. I love that. If Coca-Cola has to advertise, if they have to remind you to pick them when you're out,
exactly,
then
right.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk then. Both of you, have some great reels and TikToks going on.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now we're okay. Yeah. Just had someone come to our door.
Should I tell them?
I think they're walking away. Okay.
That's okay. We'll pause. Yeah.
Let's be here in an hour.
Yeah.
Editor, edit this out, please. Okay. Okay, social media. So both of you, have a combined Instagram. Do you have separate Instagrams as well?
Yes.
And then you have separate TikToks. You have a together TikTok as well?
We don't have a together TikTok.
Okay.
I know it's confusing. We have
so
many accounts.
Yeah, I hear it. So, okay, well, let's talk about like how was the diving into video content for you both?
It was, I think like everyone, it was tricky at first, just learning a new platform is confusing, but we started TikTok a little bit before the pandemic hit. So we have been doing it for a while. At this point, it's second nature to us. Like when everyone got really freaked out by Reels,
you're like, we're already doing this.
Yeah, sorry, you guys are late to the show. So it feels totally fun and it makes sense why it's going off. It's because it's just so much easier to digest than just a static photo. And people are sick of just the static photo because you don't get to see, the reality behind the situation.
So, what tips do you have for creatives who haven't really stepped up to the short form video content game yet?
Yeah, well, I'd say you should get going on it because that's where things are really going.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Instagram's making it very clear that you should be doing video, and TikTok's just continuing to blow up. But I would say the most important thing is to be authentic. If it's not in your nature to like be standing in front of the camera and, doing a little like dance or pointing or whatever, then don't do that. But there's plenty of ways that you can create really good quality content that's authentic to you. And honestly, with the video content, you kind of have to retrain your brain because it's about quantity rather than quality, whereas Instagram has for a while been so polished and put together. So don't think too much about it. Just start doing it and make yourself do it every single day. And eventually it'll become a lot easier and you'll really see some growth there. And
really try not to overthink it. We've struggled with that too, but like it's always the dumbest videos that go off
that get a million views. Yeah.
So you guys don't batch then? You guys just sort of record content on a whim?
I mean, we're so busy and painting murals and stuff that we just
there's some days where we'll be able to film a bunch of weird things and we'll have them backlogged, but most of it it's kind of on a whim.
Okay. And then when you're painting, I assume you guys take footage as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's scary for some people.
I know.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I think it's like it's baked into imposter syndrome and confidence issues and the patriarchy and, not taking up space. And it's hard. I mean, I have an acting background. Like I'm very confident, like whatever, but like it was a lot for me to like figure out how to do the videos. And there's some people who are just, much more introverted than me. And it's really a big hurdle. And so I don't know, did you both have that hurdle or are you pretty camera comfy?
We're pretty camera comfy. I mean, I'm definitely an introvert. Phoebe's an extrovert. So I would say that I'm a private person. So it's not like in my nature to be like, hey guys, like talking into the camera. But just start small. I mean, it's good to get uncomfortable, especially with so many benefits to it. I mean, think about the people that are just starting Instagram accounts now. Like, I mean, you don't want to be that person in a few years that like, okay, I'll finally do video. And then it's just so much harder. So just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I would say follow people that make you feel like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. Instead of like, well, instead of comparing yourself to people that you view as like, well, I'm not as pretty or as skinny or whatever makes you feel shitty about yourself. Like, don't follow those people that make you feel like, you can't do it compared to them. Follow people that make you feel like, oh yeah, it's not that crazy. It's not that hard,
I love the feeling comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And isn't that the whole part of running a business? I mean, you just gotta like, put on your big girl pants and like, send those emails and do the thing, because if you don't, then your business is not going to be as successful.
Exactly.
And I also love what you said there too about following the people who like you think you can make videos that are, not similar. We're not stealing, but like today I had a content day already. And I tried to do like a fashion video and it's so not my jam. I like tried to do a transition and I'm much more talking head, but it's kind of fun again to like figure out how to do those transitions because it translates to everything too.
Transitions are hard.
Yeah, they are.
I tried to like tap my heels. I don't know. It's the whole thing.
Love it.
We did it. It's fine. It's raw, but and then like being okay with putting that out there and then trying it again next time. And like,
right.
Maybe it'll be better the next time we're doing a fashion video. Okay. You two have a book coming out. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's called Wonder Walls. We've been working on it for the last 3 years. So it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it's
3 years
in a few weeks. But so Wonder Walls is a book teaching people how to paint murals in their own homes and really making the process easy. So we have 26 different projects in various spaces throughout different homes and even on some furniture. and it walks you through step by step, kind of like a cookbook of how to do it yourself. And it makes it a lot easier, because I think a lot of people think mural painting is pretty daunting and like, oh, I could never do that. But again, just making it simple and digestible for people to do themselves.
So is your target audience for the book then maybe not artists?
I think it's for everyone. I mean, I like to think it is, but we have a range of projects. So there's projects for someone who is, not an artist, not maybe comfortable painting, but we think it's easy enough that you could follow our step-by-step guide and hopefully figure it out. And then there's some projects for some more seasoned artists who maybe want to, take it up a notch.
And so when is the book out?
Yeah.
It hits shelves November 9th. Yeah. So very soon.
So probably when this podcast is out, the book
Yeah.
will be out. And where can we find the book?
Everywhere that books are sold, as long as you're in the US, Canada, UK, Europe, and Australia.
That's so exciting.
And EU.
And EU.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So how did the book process come about? Was that an idea that you had? Did you pitch a publishing company? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was a really long process. I hope that anyone listening who wants to get a book deal like has a much smoother process. But yeah, I mean, being honest, it's been long. It's been a lot. So we were initially approached about doing a lettering book, and that was not on our to-do list because we just, being in the lettering world, we know there's so many lettering books out there. So we're like, we don't really want to enter an already saturated market. So we had an idea of doing the mural book because there's no mural books, or little to no mural books right now. And interestingly enough, we learned that the publishing industry doesn't really want to take risks. They don't want to do books that aren't already out there, which doesn't really make sense to us. But yeah, so we had a process of putting together like basically a pitch of how this would work as an interior design book.
We had a book agent.
Yeah.
She helped us with all this.
Helped us with this. She approached us, so she found us. I don't even know if I knew book agents were a thing, but she approached us, and then it was
same person as the lettering book, or this is a different.
This is for the mural.
For the mural book, but
a different agent.
Yes, we turned down the lettering book,
Okay.
and then got in touch with Leslie, the book agent, and she liked our mural book idea, but told us, we would need to position it as an interior design book so that it was something that the publishing world could digest. And then she basically took our pitch around to the different publishers, and again, they would give you feedback and we'd have to adjust it accordingly. And then finally, Story Publishing is who we went with. They liked what they saw and trusted us, and
we had to negotiate
the terms,
terms, and the advance and all that. And for anyone who's getting offered an advance, double it at least, because it's so much freaking work. Now we know that. But yeah, so it's exciting for it to finally come out. We've learned a lot about the publishing world. We've learned how hard it is to type out what you do day to day that seems just like normal. Like it's very difficult to write. But we're really proud of the book, and we're excited for everybody to have it.
That's so exciting. Congrats.
Thank you.
Are you doing some sort of book tour?
We're not doing a formal book tour, but we are going to be doing different events whenever we're traveling to different cities.
Mm-hmm.
Just along with murals.
So be on the lookout. We may be in your neck of the woods.
I love that. Okay. It's been so good talking to you. Do you have any like last minute sage advice or for our creative community?
We have so much advice.
Maybe not to the last minute then. Just shower us with some advice.
I think some advice, because your audience is female primarily, I would say is that we all need to be making more money. There needs to be more women that own businesses, that own land, that own real estate, that have investments. It's really important for all of us. We've We've learned that recently through running a nonprofit. Every landlord we talk to is male. And so we just encourage women, like, if you're feeling like, you know, imposter syndrome about charging more, just think about that, like, it is good for all of us. And there needs to be more women with a lot more money and power. So let's just all be doing that.
Run for office, get interviewed for a podcast, ask for a raise. There's lots of different things you can do to help build all of us up, not just yourself.
Yes, 100% to all that. And full circle, right? You pitched to be on the podcast.
Outreach, baby.
Now you're on the podcast. So that outreach practice is so important. Okay, so where can our community find you?
So on one of our 1,000 social media accounts, but our website is pandrdesignco.com, and then our Instagram is pandrdesignco. Our individual accounts are our names, Phoebe Cornog and Roxy Prima on Instagram and TikTok.
Well, thank you so much, Roxy and Phoebe. It's been a pleasure. And we will give everyone your links to your website and all your socials and your new book. So
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Phoebe.